Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. Please hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into today's video. So getting right into it, I did go ahead and trim down the nail tips. These are the 𝐶𝐲𝐻 full cover nail tips. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that brand's name, but I do believe these are the extra long square full cover nail tips, so I will remember to leave them linked down below in the description box. I am slowly switching to having all of my full cover nail tips for press-ons to be this specific brand, just because I feel like they're very versatile, meaning like they fit nicely on flat nail beds and the like not so flat nail beds. So I highly recommend this brand for press-on nails if you're interested in starting that. But getting right into the tutorial, I am using the Perfect Nude Cover Acrylic that we just recently launched, a part of our Nude Necessities collection with Kairos Nail Supply. As you can see, it is pretty much like just the name says, it is a perfect nude cover powder. It's honestly one of everyone's like favorites from this collection. So if you are interested, I do have our link down below as always, and if you use code YouTube, it does save you 20% on your purchases. So I will be using this cover powder across all the nails. So I will kind of get into the application on the next nail just because this one already went by pretty quickly. So I will come back in just a little bit. So how I like to do my acrylic press-ons is I like to take a medium-sized bead of acrylic and apply it below the cuticle area and kind of just gently start patting it down towards the free edge, just to kind of help create the structure right there at that free edge area of the nail. Also, please keep in mind when doing any type of like acrylic nails, even if it's on a client or anything, you don't have to stick to a specific like bead method. Sometimes I like to try to stick to like a 2-bead method, but sometimes I do end up doing like 3 to 4 beads. It just depends, especially like where you need to be applying more acrylic to kind of create that structure. So here I did go ahead and take another medium-sized bead of acrylic and placed it below the cuticle area, and then just gently blended it up in the cuticle area just to keep it nicely thin. And then after I did that, I did go ahead and start blending it down towards the free edge with that previous bead. And like I was saying, I did only do 2 beads on that previous nail just because the structure came out pretty nicely and I didn't want to mess anything up. I felt like it was perfect, so I did do 2 beads. On this nail specifically, I don't remember if I did 2 beads or not, but you will see how I did the application on this nail. So right here, I felt like the free edge was a little bit too thin, so I took a small bead of acrylic and placed it right above the free edge area and just blended it with the previous beads. So I will be doing the same exact thing across the rest of the nail, so I will go ahead and just let you guys watch that, and I'll come back in once it's time to shape and file. So this is what the application is looking like once it's completely done. So I am just using my 100 grit hand file to file the like all of the nails. So what I like to do is I like to follow the sidewalls to make sure they're nice and straight, and then I do like to follow the cuticle area kind of going in a backwards motion, if that makes sense, just to keep it nice and thin in that area. And then after I get that area done, I do file over the entire surface of the nail to smooth it out, just to make sure everything is nicely crisp and just smooth. And then here I do kind of flip the nail over from this perspective and follow the free edge as well, just to make sure everything is nicely straight. And then this is what the nail is looking like after the filing is done, just very nicely crisp, a nice straight square nail. So again, I will be doing the same exact process across the rest of the nails, and then I will come back once it's time to talk about the next step. So here I'm just quickly going in with my fine taper drill bit, my 5-in-1 fine taper drill bit, and going underneath the free edge area of the nail just to kind of thin it out a bit, just because when I was filing the free edge with my hand file, it kind of thickened it up a little bit, and I do want to have it just a little bit thin. So I am doing that, and I do also have my drill at the speed of 11,000 RPMs when doing that process. And then here I'm going back in with my hand file just to make sure everything is nicely crisp. And then lastly, I'm just taking my buffer and buffing over the entire surface of the nail, just because we will be doing a little bit of nail art and we do want the surface to be smooth just for that. Now these are what the nails are looking like after they've been shaped and filed, and I did also take a lint-free wipe and some alcohol and clean up all that excess dust. And then here I'm just showing you the structure of the nails. So getting into the gel polishes, I will just be using these two gel polishes from Blue Sky, which is like a nice red and a deep green type of color, along with classic white from KAIROSE Nail Supply. So if you see by the thumbnail, we will be doing some like Nightmare on Elm Street inspired type of nails. So on the ring nail, I am just taking that jade green gel polish color from Blue Sky and painting the entire surface of the nail with this color. And I do also do 2 coats. So here I did the first coat, cured for 30 seconds, and now I'm going in with that second coat. And then after the second coat, I do go ahead and cure again for another 30 seconds. So I will be using my 18mm liner brush from KAIROSE Nail Supply and creating my French tip. So I am taking that pastel red gel polish color from Blue Sky and starting off by outlining my smile line and everything like that. So lately I've been but I've been liking to do the A method for French tips, just because I feel like it gives a nice perfect French tip. So I do the 2 side lines kind of going in towards the center of the free edge area, and then after I have those lines done, I do kind of curve them in to create the smile line. And then here I'm just taking the brush from the bottle to kind of fill in the French tip portion, just to make it go by quicker rather than just using the liner brush to fill it in. And then after that is filled in, I do go ahead and cure for 30 seconds while I move on and do the same exact thing across the rest of the nails that don't have like the plain green background. So I am doing French tips on all the nails minus that ring nail. So I will go ahead and just let you guys watch the process of me doing the French tips, and I'll come back in just a little bit. So back to that ring nail, I am going to be writing the word elm and then the little street, just kind of give it the effect of a street sign, if that makes sense. So I am taking the same 18mm liner brush and my classic white gel polish from KAIROSE Nail Supply and creating the words and everything like that. Here I just felt like the E was too big, so I did go ahead and wipe it off using some alcohol and a lint-free wipe, and now I'm just going back in but trying to make the letters a little bit smaller just to fit nicely on the nail. So after I did the words elm, I did go ahead and cure for 30 seconds, and now I'm going back in and creating the word, well, the little letters of street. So I did decide to use my 12mm liner brush for this just because it was a bit smaller for the letters, so I felt like this brush would be perfect to kind of create those smaller letters. And then once I am done creating these letters, I do go ahead and again cure for 30 seconds in the nail light. So now getting to the French tips, this one is pretty simple. I feel like this nail set is like very beginner friendly, so if you do want to recreate it, I feel like this would be super easy for you guys. So I am just taking that green gel polish color and kind of creating the stripes along the French tip just to kind of give that effect of Freddy Krueger's like sweater or whatever it is he wears. So I will be doing that across all of the French tip nails. And I'm not gonna lie, doing this specific type of design was a little bit time consuming, so I did only show the process of me doing it on this nail here, and then I did the rest of the French tip like sweater design type of thing off camera, so you won't be seeing me do the stripes on any of the other French tips, just this one here. And then after I am done creating the stripes on this French tip, I do go ahead and cure for 30 seconds while I move on and work on the rest of the French tips. So this is what the nail set is looking like so far. I do want to add a little bit more design, so before I do that, I am taking our classic matte top coat from KAIROSE Nail Supply and applying that on top of all of the nails, making sure to press it into the French tip nails specifically, just because it has a little bit of those ridges from creating those green stripes on it. You want to make sure it's fully covered with the top coat, so I am doing that, and then I do cure for a full 60 seconds in the nail lamp. And then here I am mixing in a little bit of classic diamond gel top coat from KAIROSE Nail Supply into that pastel red gel polish, just to kind of help that gel polish be like a non-wipe type of thing. Just because we applied the matte top coat on the nails, I don't want to try to apply like shiny top coat on top of those little red things that we're about to do. So here I'm taking my designated like little brush for these blood splatter type of effect, and dipping it in the corner of that brush. Like I'm using the corner of the brush, dipping it into the gel polish, and then just patting it on top of the nails just to give it that nice splatted blood look, I guess. And then after that, I do go ahead and cure in the light for a full 60 seconds to make sure everything's completely done. But that is pretty much the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!